Awesome. Hey team, welcome back to episode 7 of the Face Up podcast. Today we're joined by Ruby Mills. Ruby is an online media influencer and entrepreneur, first breaking into the scene on Heartbreak Island season 1 and then making a return for season 2. Ruby is now the managing director of The Whitening Co., New Zealand's leading teeth whitening specialists. Is there anything you'd like to add to that little bio?
No, that's pretty good. You guys have made me sound a lot more exciting than I actually am.
We're in for one hell of a chat, I think. We're going to start off with a quick few rapid fire questions. Don't think too hard about them, just whatever comes to mind.
Sure.
Okay. What makes you happy?
Definitely my friends and family. I love spending time with my family. My parents actually live in Christchurch, so it makes me happy when I can go back and see them. What else? Pink, the colour pink. Yeah. Ice cream, dogs, I'm a pretty happy person, to be honest. I'm very positive. So
we just caught up for a drink downstairs, and 2 people gave you compliments on your shirt in like 2 minutes.
It's very princey.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. Top 2 things on your bucket list.
First one would be able to afford to take my entire family traveling to Europe and travel around for a few months. Second thing, I don't know. Probably something maybe have a rescue dog, be able to rescue some dogs. I love dogs.
Multiple dogs.
Yeah, multiple
dogs. What legacy do you want to leave behind?
That's a hard one. I feel like I'm too young at the moment to know what I want to leave behind, but if anything, just that I was a really kind person and created just something positive, left something positive on the world, I guess.
If you had $10,000, what charity would you donate it to?
Okay, can I split it in half?
Yeah.
Okay. 5,000 to a charity that helps elderly people. I feel like some of them are so lonely and they kind of get forgotten about when they're older. So something to help them out, or maybe get them out of the house and really help them value their lives again. And dogs.
Rescue dogs.
Rescue dogs.
Awesome. Have you been affected by suicide, either personally or through family?
Yeah, I feel like I think most people now these days, it's really sad, but the reality is that a lot of us have really either someone close to us or we know of someone that has been affected by suicide. And for me, in my life, I've lost a few people close to me to suicide, and it's hard because I feel like everyone probably has had that. In particular, a family member, even just suicidal thoughts and things like that. I feel like they do affect a lot of people.
When was the last time you cried, and what was it about?
Oh my God, you guys are gonna laugh. I was watching the Love Island final. Do you watch Love Island?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, unfortunately not.
The final was just so cute. They're reading their speeches to other, and the family members come and visit them, and I was bawling my eyes out. Jordan came out of the room and was like, "Are you all good?"
Which one's Love Island?
The UK one.
The UK.
It's huge.
What's the difference between
It's
I don't watch.
It's you couple up, and it's more of a love fairy tale. Everyone the aim of it is to end up with someone at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you rather be hated or forgotten?
Oh, that's a hard one. Probably forgotten. I wouldn't want anyone to hold any hate. I feel like we don't need hate in the world, so probably forgotten.
Who is your idol? Who do you look up to?
And I have got so many people I looked up to. Probably, to be honest, my mum. I feel like we need to give mums more appreciation. They do so much for entire families, and they have to raise us, and then they have to do washing and all the house jobs. And I just feel like mums really have it hard, but they're the glue of the family, and they always hold people together. So definitely my mum.
When was the last time you opened up to someone? What was it about?
Honestly, I'm a very open book. I talk. I love talking, and I like talking about talk about myself probably too much. But yeah, I'm a real open book. I kind of just free to talk to anyone, and if anyone wants help or advice, I always open up.
That's cool. Are you truly happy right now?
Yes, I can probably say I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, but I also, there's so many stages in my life where I'm I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, and then it'll get to 3 months and I'm now I'm the happiest. So I feel like it's just a steady uphill for me. I'm always happy, and then getting happier by creating more positive experiences in my life. So yeah, for sure.
You've had a lot of things click into place in the last few months.
Yeah, totally. So I finally have moved to Auckland. I moved here a year ago.
From Christchurch?
No, I actually lived in Sydney before that. So I've kind of moved all over the place. I am originally from the UK, and then I grew up in Christchurch, studied in Dunedin, moved to Sydney, moved to Auckland.
Wow.
So my life has just kind of been all over the place, always travelling. I remember at one point after Heartbreak Island, I literally lived out of a suitcase. Like, I was just between Christchurch, Dunedin, Auckland, like going all over the show. But now it's nice because I'm finally settled here, and I've got my apartment, like I live with my boyfriend, and I've got the whitening co, so it's nice to know that I'm finally settled, which is good.
It's good. Now, I kind of want to go into a few different areas today with influencers and all that stuff. And kind of the first question Matt and I developed to ask you is, when did you first consider yourself a proper influencer? Well, an influencer to a degree.
I honestly don't really like the word influencer. I don't like to be like, I'm an influencer, because I just don't like it. It's a bit cringe. I remember though when I was on Heartbreak Island, so obviously the show airs like 3 or 4 months after it's actually been filmed, so you have to keep it quiet for a while. And then I remember having my phone, watching an episode of Heartbreak Island, and like refreshing, and it was like hundreds, thousands of followers.
Wow.
Like, and this is New Zealand scale, like this is so small compared to UK or like the US. And I remember just refreshing it, and there was all these new followers, and this was so weird because all of a sudden I had all these like thousands of people who cared about my life, and all of a sudden were wanting to see what brands I use for like my makeup, my hair, like bikinis, like everything. They all of a sudden they cared, and I feel like that's probably the time when I was like, oh, okay, so now I'm like kind of in the public eye, and people are watching me. And people are interested in what I do, but I wouldn't say like I don't like the word influencer.
Did that like change your perception on what you wanted to post when you realized people were actually like watching? Like we talked a bit off camera, and you said you went from like 5,000 to 18,000, in the space of a week or a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Did that change you being like, maybe I've got to go and delete some posts, or I've got to be careful about what I post?
Yeah, you best believe I went back to my old Instagram posts. You know, when you were younger and you'd post like a smoothie or like some random, and you'd hashtag like 20 hashtags. I had to delete all those posts because I was like, anyone's going to find those and put them anywhere. And I think you are so kind of aware now of what you're posting, because everyone's going to talk about what you post. You are in the public eye. You have your 5 seconds of fame, and you do have to kind of be careful what you're posting, especially if Heartbreak Island was like a lot of 12-year-old and like young followers. And for me, as a female, like I was 20 and I've got all these young girls following me. I don't want to be posting stuff that's like not influencing them in a good way. So I was very careful about what I did post, and I still am. Like, not that I ever have the intention of posting anything bad, but I am just a bit more aware of what I post now.
You were posting when the initial rush came in for Heartbreak Island. You had a lot of brands reach out very quickly, right?
Yeah.
How'd you find the level of what you did post and what you didn't post, and how'd you go through that?
Yeah, it was hard because you don't really get a lot of social media coaching. You all of a sudden your DMs are blowing up, and there's all these brands, and they're like, hey Ruby, would love to send you this, which is cool, but you're like at the point where you're like, oh my god, they want to send me this, so you say yes to everything. So then you've got all the stuff stockpiling at your door, and the courier's coming to your house every day, and you do feel obliged to post everything. And I feel like looking back now, I posted a lot of stuff that I actually didn't really care about, and it was just like, oh, I've got something free, I'll post it on my Instagram. And I feel like that was really hard. I do kind of, not that I can regret it, but I wish there was more preparation for what was going to happen after all of a sudden people are following you, because it kind of, you are a brand now. So like I was a brand, and then brands are trying to work with me, but I'm all of a sudden posting brands that don't align with me. But I don't realize that now until 2 years on, and I'm like, wow, I used to do 10 stories in a day of brands that I really didn't care about. But I guess I can't look back now. It's just I've learned a lot after 2 years.
Definitely. And we talked a bit off air earlier too about that you think that there should be a level of social media coaching coming from TV producers and companies and stuff. Well, what do you think about that?
I mean, we got a little bit. So we do have the producers before the show. They're like, right, this is going to go on air. There can be some horrible, nasty comments. Just block them, delete them, that kind of stuff. But in terms of negative comments, there's nothing that can really prepare you for the things that people would say about you afterwards. I remember, actually the other day, I found a screenshot of, don't know why I screenshotted, probably should have deleted it, but it was just a screenshot of some comments I saw about myself online. And 2 years on reading that, I'm like, wow, I was like a very sad, confused person going into Heartbreak Island, and then to have to deal with going on Heartbreak Island and then all of a sudden being in the limelight and people saying negative things about you, I like, kudos to me. Like, I don't know how I put up with that. And everyone else who goes on reality TV, because all of a sudden people think they own you.
What do they say?
Like,
What's the worst ones you've ever had?
I've been told to kill myself, like, multiple
Really?
times. Yeah, and this is, like, if you think about New Zealand, it's a really small country, and the New Zealand media probably isn't as... Well, there's just not that many of us compared to, like, the UK, where people from Love Island are coming off with millions of followers. For me, it was, like, a few people. Like, to be honest, the hate was, like, not... It wasn't a lot, but the things that... For every 100 people that said something nice, there was always that one horrible comment, and that, sadly, is the one comment that kind of sticks with you, and it does bring out insecurities. Like, I used to have some... Like, someone told me that I blinked too many times in a second.
Really?
I had 2 front teeth like Bugs Bunny. I needed to get a nose job ASAP. Like, I got told I was going to be forever alone because I was a fussy B-word.
Shit.
Yeah, like, just horrible
Bet you
stuff.
can... Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like whole thing. I was like a whore. I was like, just like
Wow.
things. And I tried not to read them, but also you do, I don't know, you just can't help yourself reading those things when you're all of a sudden in the limelight and people are saying good and bad things. It sucks that the bad things are the ones that stick.
It's crazy that people don't even know you, have never met you,
No.
have never seen you walk on a street, have never had any interaction, and
think
they're telling
they
you to
can
kill
message
yourself.
you that. Yeah.
Was that public or private or both, or DM
this
saying
is
that,
like,
or
you know how when you like go on a stuff article and then you read down and there's always those stuff
Wow.
comments of people, and like if I looked at their profiles, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I shouldn't be offended because they're just not, I don't know, you just like wouldn't be offended. And the thing is that I don't think any of these people, I can almost guarantee that if you saw these people face to face, they would not straight up say to you, you need to kill yourself or you are a slut. You know, they would never ever say that to you. And that people think they own you because it's across social media and because it's not face to face, that it doesn't have consequences, when I feel like we all know that whatever you say to people online, it really does affect people.
what can I guess influencers? I hate that term as well. I just don't understand the whole world of influencing, and I personally think it's going to die in the next like few years. And it's just
totally
not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
What can influencers do to help each other to get through these? Because you're getting these and you've got 15, 20,000 followers.
Yeah, 17.
There's people, hundreds of thousands, millions. We were looking before at New Zealanders who have got up to 3-4 million followers.
Yeah.
Is there any network where you guys all like have a Facebook group and you'll chat, or is there like a WhatsApp group, or is there any support there, or are you all like bidding against each other to be like, I want that brand deal and you're not going to get this, and like what's that community like?
I feel like the influencer community, I don't know, but within New Zealand, we're very like welcoming. Like, you always see the same influencers.
It's quite tight, right? Because there's not many of them.
No, like, we're a pretty small country. There's not a lot of influencers in between us. I mean, we do have a certain amount of reach with our followers, but it's nothing compared to overseas. I think, though, as soon as you have more followers, like, I feel like people with like 3 million followers, they probably won't say these comments about themselves because they don't have time to search through thousands and hundreds of thousands of comments. But I just feel like the issue isn't social media. Like, it's not social media that's the problem. It's the people that are using it in the way they're using it. And I get kind of annoyed when people say, oh, but you put yourself out there on social media and people are going to judge you. And that's fine. I think it's human nature that people are going to judge each other. But it's also just like, keep it to yourself. And I think the whole culture and the idea around using social media needs to change. I don't think that social media itself is the problem.
How do you think the influencer game is going to develop over the next 4 years? You kind of agreed with Matt that it's going to die off.
Yeah.
Is that what you think is going to happen?
I just think everyone wants to be an influencer these days. Like,
I think Instagram's going to die.
Yeah, I remember when
reckon.
Instagram first came out, and do you remember when Facebook first came out and we just switched over from
I was
Bebo?
too young.
Oh,
I was too
Just.
young.
Did you have Bebo?
Yeah, I was like 8 when it switched over, and I remember I like put myself down as like 18 to get on Facebook, just so I could play like Farmville with my friends.
Oh, I remember that.
I had Bebo.
I had
That
Bebo.
was old school. That was cool.
Yeah.
I preferred Bebo over Facebook.
And then you'd have your other half and you'd make the skin on Bebo and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember Facebook came out and...
You're too young.
Can't
I
relate.
can't relate.
I remember Facebook came out and that was like the huge thing. And then I think Instagram has been around for a while, but I just think it's getting so oversaturated with influencers and wannabe influencers. And I mean, the influencer marketing is huge. Like
Yep.
it's weird. Like I even find myself doing it sometimes. Like if there's an influencer I follow and she's all of a sudden endorsing this fake tan, I'm like, I need it. Where can I buy it?
Yeah.
Like I
Really?
need it. Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite.
Really?
If I see something, I think as a viewer, you can tell when something's genuine and when something's
Yeah,
not. If
yeah.
it's not genuine, I instantly unfollow.
Yeah,
I'm
of
just
course.
like, this is shit.
Yeah, but for me, I love like beauty and makeup influencers, and when I see like a makeup influencer that I've followed for a while endorsing this product and she's talked about it more than once, I'm like, cool, where can I buy it? Wow. And then I catch myself, I'm like, whoa, I'm being influenced.
you just
Have
got
you ever done that,
influenced.
Grayson?
I don't think I've ever brought anything. I've probably gone to places that have been influencers, like
Yeah.
like cafes and restaurants and stuff, but I don't think I've ever brought anything that has been influenced.
But I feel like there's not a lot of male influencers. They're like, whoa, he's cool. I'll get that.
Yeah, I think the only place I've probably been influenced to go was at Archie Bros in Newmarket.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Just because I was like, I haven't been to the Newmarket precinct. I was in the area. I was like, oh, we should go. I've seen people post about it.
Did you like it?
No.
What?
Oh, it's wasn't my
I think
thing.
it's very
Yeah.
expensive, isn't
It
it?
was
Yeah,
super- it was
you
too
could
busy.
spend so much money there
Yeah.
in a night.
I went there and it was like packed, and I was like, I don't want to stand
Yeah.
in a line to throw like a ball in a hoop for
Yeah.
20 seconds.
You
Like,
could go to
just-
Time Zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the same
Yeah.
thing.
And win like 6 TNTs
Yeah.
for like $80.
Yeah.
So you across all social media, or is Instagram the main
So
kind of
Instagram,
platform?
yeah. So Instagram is because I never really intended to all of a sudden be an influencer. Instagram, I'm still kind of figuring out how to use Instagram, to be honest, and trying to figure out my niche market as well. Because the best influencers do have niche markets. They're not just like, you can't just be hot and have heaps of followers. You got to be doing something else, to really have a cult niche following. So I'm kind of still trying to figure it out as well. I'd love to start YouTube. I spend so much time watching YouTube, just pointless YouTube, but I love it and I'd love to do that as well. But Instagram is just my main thing at the moment.
Because I think going back to the Instagram story, I think Instagram's going to die, and I think New Zealand's slowly going to come to the fact that Twitter is a thing.
Really?
Because do you use
I have
Twitter?
No.
Never.
See,
I've never.
I spend probably 90% of my social media interaction on
Really?
Twitter.
What do you
Yeah.
post on Twitter?
I don't post. I just follow.
Do you just like their tweets and?
I don't even do that. I literally just follow and read.
Is it
like
funny?
the fact that you don't need to post, you don't need to be active. You can just go on and scroll and get like immediate news. So I follow all the news outlets, all like the influencer media people,
Yeah.
politicians, all that sort of stuff. And it's the quickest consumption of like content I've ever had in my life.
Really?
The
I
quickest.
can't. I've just never gotten
And
behind
in
it.
the
I tried
US,
to.
in the US and UK, it is the thing.
Yeah, people
Like, in
can be
UK,
quite funny on Twitter as
I'm
well.
pretty sure in UK, I read somewhere the other day that Twitter's bigger than Instagram and Facebook in terms of like
Really?
usership.
That's
There's more people on
wild.
Twitter, yeah.
That's,
But I just think it's all so time consuming though. Instagram is so time
You've got to pick one, right?
Yeah. Like you would spend so many hours in a day scrolling if you had Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
I think
YouTube.
Twitter's going to pick up too, because I think people are going to come to the realization that, you said before that social media isn't the problem,
Yeah.
it's the people behind the profile.
Yeah.
I think people will switch to Twitter when they start to realize it's not a visual platform. So it removes the booty pics, it removes the titty
thirst
pics, the
trapping.
thirst traps,
Yeah.
all that sort of shit. It's going to remove it all, and it's going to come down to who is the person and how like genuinely intelligent or witty are they that they
Yeah.
can post something
Yeah.
that
Can you
you're still
post
engaged with.
photos on Twitter.
You can, but it's very uncommon. Twitter's designed to be 150
Is
text.
Twitter like memes?
No, no. So it's literally like
Wow, I feel
It's
like,
like small
I don't know anything about
excerpts.
Twitter.
Well, you know,
it's like
150,
it's
right?
100, I think it's about 150 characters, and it's all you're allowed to post. So it's short.
Jeez.
So like if
Right.
you're posting an essay, people have to do it in like comments and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it removes like the most popular people on Twitter aren't even like on Instagram because there's no
Right.
need, because it's not. I don't have to show the face. It's
Really?
all about like what's inside
Yeah.
and how
That's
quick
cool.
and witty you are.
That's really cool.
It's really good.
It's more about like how funny you are, how nice, genuine you
Yeah.
are. You're writing things instead
yeah,
of
I mean, there's
posting
still a lot of
photos.
hate on there.
Okay.
But I mean, with anything, right? There's hate
Yeah,
on hate
yeah,
on
of
everything.
course.
I just think Twitter. I've said it before. I just think Twitter's so much better. I spend all my day on it.
Right,
Do you use
go.
TikTok?
I'm gonna go home. Oh, don't get me started on TikTok. In the morning, I will
Jesus.
literally scroll on TikTok. I love it.
I haven't gotten it just because I know I'll get addicted.
Yeah.
I'll watch like a compilation video on YouTube like every now and then, but I just know if I get it, it's just going to be downhill.
I also
real
don't get
quick.
it. There is like 12-year-olds. They'll post one video, they'll go viral, and they'll get like 200,000 followers on Instagram from TikTok. It's crazy.
I was watching something that. Oh, what was I watching? I was watching a podcast the other day, and they said the same sort of thing. They said there's so many young people now getting so big on TikTok,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to convert.
Yeah.
And it goes back to this thing, like you were saying, when you went from 5,000 to 18,000, there's an unknowingness there of, okay, what brands do I work with? How often do I work? How do I deal with the hate? How do I do this? How much do I show? And now that age of influence is getting younger and younger, and you're getting 12, 10, 8-year-olds on there that are going viral.
That's a huge problem.
But they don't know how to convert and understand that, okay, I've got millions of people watching me.
Yeah.
And they're watching everything I do.
Imagine if you put all those followers into one room. Like, even if I think about mine, and I don't have any, if I had 17,000 people in one room and I was like, right, this is everyone that follows me, I'd be like, this is a bit scary.
Yeah. It's like a concert.
It's weird.
What's I don't know her name. Charlie. My sister really loves TikTok.
Charlie D'Amelio.
Charlie D'Amelio.
She's a TikTok queen. She's got.
She just passed.
Queen.
She's got like 40 million followers on TikTok.
And she's like
or something.
15.
For what kind of videos?
She's 17.
She
dance
funny?
videos.
Oh.
All she does is 6-second dance videos. It's mental.
The world's crazy, eh?
Like, how do you get famous from that? Shit.
Beats me.
So tell us what it was like coming back from Heartbreak Island. So you were on TV for, what was it?
6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, so you're there. I remember getting on the plane thinking, oh my goodness, what have I signed
Are you
myself
allowed on your phone, social? Or do
No,
they take it off you, right?
they take your phone off you as soon as you get there. You get put in like lockdown, and you meet the girls, the boys meet the boys. And so this is in Fiji. When you get taken to the island, you don't know the time, the day, the date.
Shit.
You have no radio, TV, phone, no connection to the outside world. You don't know any news that's going on. I remember I tried to call my brother on his 18th birthday and I wasn't allowed.
Shit.
So you really can't, just from fear of like, they're really trying to create this bubble and you're living in this little world that they've created. And it's cool, but it's also like you're literally a social experiment. And I remember so many times, like, people would just cry for no reason, and you'd be like, "You all good?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm just crying." Like, it was normal to cry there. Yeah, it was normal to cry there. And I remember thinking sometimes, I want to go home. Like, but it's not. I don't want to make it sound like it was a really bad experience, but it was so emotionally draining. Like high stress all the time. I remember feeling anxious. You know, when you have that stomach feeling, I literally had that.
You're being filmed 24 hours, right?
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, so you're in bed, and there's a microphone strapped above your bed. There's 2 cameras in the corner of the room. You walk outside. There's a big camera crew with a huge fluffy microphone waiting outside your door. Like, it's cool. It was a one in a lifetime experience.
In your case, 2 in a lifetime.
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I remember coming. It was great, but it was like a whirlwind. And if I think back now to 2 years ago when we went on there, I'd come back. We came off on February the 14th, so Valentine's Day. I remember my parents picked me up from the airport, and I just cried. And it was the worst, but also the best experience of my life. It's so hard to explain, and you don't know until you've actually been there. But I think every person that came off that show, and probably every reality TV show, developed some sort of mental health problem. I sat at home for like 2 weeks and just didn't want to connect with the outside world anymore. It was like being reintroduced to a society that you didn't know about. Like, I came out and Jacinda Ardern was the Prime Minister, and there was all these things that had happened in the news. And I'm like, whoa, I feel like I've just like been put in a coma for 6 weeks, and I woke up and all this stuff has happened.
And now everybody knows you.
Yeah. And then
your face is everywhere.
Yeah.
You're at bus stops, you're on buses.
Literally in my bikini, like posing. Yeah. I'm like, well, this is not what I signed up for.
It was quite hard to find a stock photo to use of you.
Oh, without a bikini.
Without a bikini, I was like, oh shit, which one do I actually use?
Yeah, so it was hard. And then we filmed before the show aired, so it wasn't live. And that was also really hard because you had to keep it secret for a few months. But you had people coming up to you in town being like, I know where you've been for 6 weeks. You've been on Heartbreak Island, and you're on a contract for thousands of dollars, and you can't talk about it. And you're like, what do you mean? I was in Australia helping Uncle Brian with his farming. Well, like,
out in the outback.
Yeah. Like, you've got to make up these stories, and people have to cover you. So that was really hard. And we were offered counselling and things like that after. But, yeah, I just don't think anything could have prepared you just for the mental health problems, the abuse. Like,
did you guys stay tight afterwards? Because I read online that there was,
a bit of
with
drama.
everything, there's probably a bit of drama and a bit of fighting, and you did that and you did this. And I think somebody said something. I don't watch any reality TV, so I did a lot of research. And you distrust. What was it? You did something on someone and got someone voted off. That was actually your partner at the time.
Christian.
Well, Christian. He had a big cry about it and everything. Love you, Christian. But
yeah. What did you say?
Did you guys like band together afterwards, or was it like to support each other through that? Or
I mean, you put yourself in a room with like 30 people who are so different from different walks of life. You've never met them before. Like, bearing in mind, we're on a plane with like 8 girls, and now all of a sudden supposed to be best friends. We're thrown into this place together. You're not going to get along with everyone. Like, everyone's not your kind of person. For me, like, I was definitely I tried to get along with everyone, but personalities are going to clash. And when there's things like alcohol involved, because obviously there was drinking on Heartbreak Island, that just fuels the fire even more. And things that you would normally not really care about, you're also highly stressed because you're in an unknown environment with people you don't know, and you don't know what the next day is going to hold or what that day is going to hold. I just think it's so, there is a lot of arguments and there is a lot of drama, but there is also so many good friendships. Like, 2 of my best friends now, they will honestly be my best friends for life, and I met them through Heartbreak Island, and I couldn't imagine my life without them now. Like, It's wild to think that I met them on a TV show and now they've just slotted into my life so perfectly. So that is really cool as well.
Do you think the New Zealand media had a part to play for the mental health issues coming out of the show? Like, do you think New Zealand media played a part, or it was New Zealand public?
I feel like there also is the issue of being portrayed differently to what you actually are. So personally, I was portrayed pretty much exactly as how I am. If anything, I wish I'd been more myself, but I was kind of conscious of what people would say about me, or everyone's so judgmental. So it is you do kind of hold your personality back a little bit. But I think it's just the public. I also think New Zealand's just a bit of like tall poppy syndrome. Like, they don't want to see someone doing something different, whereas shows like this, it was kind of the first show in New Zealand where there's drinking, there's boys and girls, like Geordie Shore vibes, but also like Love Island kind of thing. So there's never really been a show like that in New Zealand where it's been young people all together on an island, whereas you see those shows on MTV and stuff in America so often, but for us it was a first in New Zealand. So I think that also kind of played a part. It was so hyped up. And then I just think like there is just some horrible people like just like have nothing better to do with their lives and actually message you like as if you've personally offended them by doing something you did on national television, as if it's hurt them. So I think it's the public as well, like I was saying, just people think they can talk to you however they want to, but they don't know you.
How dangerous is that for mental health for people in New Zealand, or influencers, or people coming through TV and everything? How dangerous is that, people knocking them down all the time? I
think if obviously the world would have heard about Caroline Flack. She was the host of Love Island, and that her committing suicide was a consequence of people's actions and horrible comments. So I think it's time people start to realise that everything you do and say has a consequence, and for that it's so sad, but she got to the point obviously where she felt like she couldn't take it anymore, and that's all because of people who don't know her saying stuff about her. It's so harmful, and I don't really know how we're going to be able to take a stand against it, but I think it's also just like keeping your friends accountable. Like if you're watching televisions together, I know I'm kind of like, I'm a bit guilty of this as well. Like someone will come on TV and I'll be like, oh, what's that dress? Like, why is she wearing that? But I think it's just about keeping your circle accountable as well, like your friends. Like if you know if your friend's like laughing about like, oh, I messaged blah, 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 I told him he was gay or something like that, you need to be like, that's not cool. So I think we all do need to make a group effort and a national effort as well to just really crack down on these comments, and even just like certain media outlets deleting comments that have been said that are horrible, or like there just needs to be consequences, or people seeing the consequences of their actions, because things like New Zealand, it has such a high suicide rate, and you wonder why when there's people that are commenting horrible things. Like for me, I'm a pretty strong person, but you don't know what's going on in someone's life when you're saying horrible things that it could end differently.
Would a full-time negative comment deleter benefit New Zealand media on social media? If New Zealand Herald, if someone had a full-time person
their job
to just go through delete negative comments.
Well, they're meant to have that job, right? It's your social media managers. Most media outlets like NZME, TVNZ, all those guys have 3 or 4 people that do
so
that.
So are they not
full-time,
caring?
Right?
Is that,
well, I think that's...
Does it hype up their article?
I think that for them, it's part of the media
but
process,
also for
right?
them, like,
it's
I
media,
don't think the media cares. I
exactly.
honestly, like, with the
the more people comment, the more money they make.
Yeah, like any publicity is good publicity to them, right? And I think with the Caroline Flack thing, it was the media that hyped her up. I don't know if you guys know what happened, but she got she was a host of Love Island, and she was apparently assaulted her boyfriend, and she was going to get taken to court for it and obviously have a trial and things like that. But he wasn't pressing charges, but the media had blown up this whole thing that she was a horrible person and she had assaulted her boyfriend and saying false things. And then it was the same media outlets. Obviously, then she committed suicide, and the same media outlets then saying, like, the media has made a story. Like, they obviously took back their words and things like that. And it's sad that it becomes to a point where it's too late to take back words. And I don't know. What do you guys think about, like...
I agree with you. I think there's a massive part to play with, like, New Zealand public in the way we talk about each other and people in the media. But I think there's a massive, massive piece of work that needs to be done by the New Zealand media landscape in how... understanding how dangerous it is for people, especially young people, to be so famous in the public eye. Like, you know, you've got... I've got countless number of friends that are media stars, whether they've been on TV, they're producers, they're reporters, they do stuff all around the world, and it really messes with them when it's like you're on TV all the time and everybody's watching, and you know, you can't go to the shop without your back being turned and be like, who's watching? Where are people? Like, I mean, even to an extent, like, you know, with your lifestyle to an extent, it's like we were saying before, like, you know, you have to, your boyfriend now knows when you go out to a restaurant, you've got to take photos and things, and it's like, it changes your whole lifestyle in one way or another. Imagine if you have 1 million followers. Like, that's a whole nother lifestyle change. And I think there's a part to play for the media. How it works, I don't know. But, you know, putting in some form of regulation that limits the amount of times people are allowed to be talked about or promoted in the media in order to give them some sort of form of their lifestyle back. Like, imagine if it was like, you know, Harry and Meghan, royal couple, were only allowed to be talked about twice a month in the New Zealand media. That's it. And NZME and TVNZ and all Stuff and Herald and all these places have to bid for those 2 spots.
That would be cool.
And that goes back to the person. So, you know, they want to talk about Ruby Mills in the Herald. Herald then has to pay you for that piece, and you're only allowed to be talked about once every 3 months or whatever, based on following size or whatever. Imagine if you did that with like all media people. And then everybody who's on camera, a reporter, a producer, any of those guys, are given free counselling. Once a week, compulsory. They have to go to counselling. Imagine how different the media landscape would be.
I think talking about your feelings 100% is something that, like, media stars also need to do. Like, I'm not afraid to say that I went to counselling after Heartbreak Island, and I'm sure many of the other cast members did as well. Because you're just your life has changed so much, like and you become so hyper aware. Like, I remember going out in normal social situations, like going out with my friends in town, and when I first came off Heartbreak Island and it aired, after the final, I went out and it would be like 20 people would come up to me at night in town and be like, hey, can I get a photo? And then, like, you're in a club, the music's real loud, and they're like, so how was it? And you're like, how do I, like, how am I supposed to react to this when you ask me how a 6-week experience was that changed my life, and you want me to all of a sudden tell you in a few words at a bar? Like,
at a bar, in a club.
Were a lot of them, random question, were a lot of them male or female?
Kind of 50-50 split. Yeah.
Did you get, because this is another interesting topic when it comes to media, especially with women, right? We talked about the rate of women influencers compared to male influencers.
Yeah.
There's a few male ones out there. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
But it's definitely dominated by females, right?
Yeah.
How often do you get, like, gross, disgusting comments from, like, men?
My social media is...
Can we do a DM check? Could you do a quick one?
I can, but I kind of check my DMs and
boom, boom, boom. She's like, oh, shit. I didn't clear them this morning.
No, but something really weird actually happened after Heartbreak Island. This is probably the weirdest thing. This is in my DMs. A guy was prepared to pay me a few $1,000s for me to send my undies to him in the mail.
Oh, my God.
Actually messaged me on Instagram and was like...
are you now $1,000 richer?
Well, no, I didn't do it. Imagine that. Imagine if it got out.
Yeah.
No, you're in my DMs, actually.
Whoops.
Busted.
Shit. All right, let's change on.
I actually always check my DMs, and to be honest, I don't have a lot of boys Instagram messaging me. I also think it's because I post a lot of couple pictures with me and Jordan. So
he's quite a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's quite good looking, so I feel like people are probably intimidated.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's interesting because there's still people out there that are will have,
Try their luck.
Will try their luck.
Yeah.
Or you'll be out at a club and they'll be like, oh, I saw you on TV in a bikini, rah, 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 or we'll say something, I don't know. But
yeah. My life's
that's
actually
another
pretty
interesting
mellow.
one.
Like, I don't actually have a lot of boys messaging me, which is good. Like, I don't want boys to be messaging me. I think also, I just don't have a lot of boys messaging me. But I think I could have totally changed my, like, obviously I got given all these followers and I could have been like, cool, what am I going to do with it? And I could start posting thirst traps and start posting bum pictures. And then totally I would have got heaps of boy followers. And I probably have more followers than I do right now, to be honest. But that's so not me. Like, I'm not into posting all these bum photos and thirst traps. Like, it's just not me.
Where do you think your life would have developed if you didn't have the kind of reach on social media that you do?
Yeah, I kind of think about that as well. But I also don't think... I think as a person, I've matured and grown up so much in 2 years. Like, I feel like I'm so mature for my age, and people will quite they say that to me as well. They're like, you're only 22 and you've done so much in your life. But I also put it down to like all the hard times I went through on Heartbreak Island, and afterwards, and in the past year and a half after that, has really shaped me to be the person I am. So as much as it was a really hard experience, I'm actually really thankful for it, because I wouldn't be where I am in my life right now. Like, I probably wouldn't have met Jordan. I wouldn't be in Auckland. I wouldn't be with the Whitening Co. I'm not really sure where I'd be. I've always been hardworking, and I've always I'm same interest in that kind of thing, but just a little bit more heightened. And I feel like I've kind of fast tracked my life a little bit after Heartbreak Island, but yeah, probably a little like less wiser, I'd say. But
more at like a dental agency in Christchurch.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd probably still be studying at uni to be a dental hygienist, and I can always go back to that. But that's probably where I'd be. Maybe in Australia. I don't know. I always think about that, actually.
Do you think the stuff you've done, Heartbreak Island, becoming influencer, all these things, has impacted the ability on you running a business, changed the way you see business? Before you answer that, give a bit of an explanation of what the business is. What is the Whitening Co?
Of the Whitening Co?
Yep.
Okay, so the Whitening Co started off as a home whitening brand, and so that's just home whitening kits that people
Is that like the
online.
videos you see of the people that put the gel in like their mouth?
If you watch those ads, they're so fake, like High Smile and stuff like that.
Really?
It's so
Just
fake.
AliExpress.
Yeah. So we just home whitening kits to start off with. That started over a year ago, and then now we do physical whitening in a teeth whitening studio. So that's pretty similar to the whitening you get done at the dentist. Not as expensive though, but still just as good, and more like boutique-y kind of. So that's what we're working on at the moment. We've got our first whitening studio opened in Eden Terrace in October last year, and then we've got the second one actually opening tomorrow, which is so exciting. That's in Takapuna. So yeah, we just whiten people's teeth and make it a really good experience. Kind of like a beauty, it's like a beauty treatment, but a little bit like funkier. It's cool.
And so back to the other question, do you think your experience being an influencer and having like a public brand of yourself has changed your understanding of business and how you promote your business and all those sorts of things?
Yeah, totally. So I never studied business at uni or anything like that. I never did like accounting or economics at school as well. So I didn't really know anything about business. And then going into the Whitening Co, I've learned so much. So the Whitening Co was already established as the home whitening, and then I've just created the whitening studios with the boys. But yeah, the way that like brands have spoke to me, and I've kind of been doing business on my Instagram already, has given me like a little bit of knowledge with the Whitening Co. But I'm also like, I'm so ready to learn about business and that sort of thing. And I've learned so much in the past since October. But I'm studying a diploma of business just like part-time on the side as well while I'm working at the moment. So yeah, it's like all very busy, but it's good. I'm learning.
What is 2 tips that you'd give to young females trying to get into entrepreneurship and business and stuff like that?
I think just like having an idea and just trying it. Like, it's so easy to sit at home. Like, I'm so guilty of this as well. Like, I've wanted to start a YouTube video. I found something on my phone the other day from 3 years ago. I'd put up a story being like, should I start a YouTube video? And it's a channel, and it's 3 years on, and I still haven't done it. And I still have videos sitting on my laptop that are edited, ready to go, but I just haven't done it. And I think you just need to do it. Like, I need to do it myself, but I think just if you have an idea, just try it out. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Talk to people who can mentor you in business or have been there before, and just try it out and really believe in yourself as well. I think that's one thing, is that you need to just like believe in your own source. You know, you just need to just go for it.
Public accountability. Everybody watching, this time next week,
oh, you're gonna
Ruby
see.
will have a YouTube channel and the videos will be up.
Oh my god, no, I have to do it.
Do it before Monday, 2:30 next week.
Okay, all right.
It's done.
Done.
It's
Okay,
in the
it's
book.
done.
He has to do
Let's
it
watch
now.
it.
Let's watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching. Everyone's listening. Yeah. So, how's the journey been with Whitening Co? Like, how did it? It started home by a couple of other people. Then you've come in and joined and started the shop side of it.
Yeah.
What's the biggest learning you've had from it all? If you were to go out and start another business tomorrow, what do you think is the one biggest learning you've taken from that experience?
I've realized how hard business is. Like, it's actually hard to have a business that's really successful. There's so much that goes into a business, like marketing, whether that be ads or influencer marketing, and then sourcing products, product development, HR, like getting staff, and just there's a lot of things that are so much harder than I thought they would be. Yeah, I don't.
Grayson's unemployed. There you go, Grayson. You go be a teeth whitener.
I could do.
Yeah, come work for us.
I'll be an influencer.
What do you think's like? Here you go. What's the biggest disappointment you've had over the last year that you thought this time last year you would be, or something that would have happened, or something that you may be feeling a bit disappointed about? A random question.
I can't really think of anything. I actually can't think. Like I said before, like I'm honestly such a positive person that if something hasn't gone my way, I do really turn it around to be a positive thing. And a lot of my friends have told me that as well. Like if something bad happens, I do kind of turn it around to be like, oh well, at least like I don't know, like even little things like I just always turn it around to be a positive. So I can't actually think of anything that's been super disappointing over the past year or so.
Would you do TV again?
Yeah, I mean,
Season 3.
Have you got the call? Would you do it
I
again?
would never do Heartbreak Island again.
Right.
I would love to do TV. I'd actually love to do a podcast as well. I love talking. So anything that's talking and getting to chat to other people would be really cool. I'd love to do TV. I think I'll just kind of start with my YouTube channel and then just like see where
Once
it goes.
that blows up.
Which starts next Monday.
Next Monday, 2:30.
Okay, what's next for Ruby? What's next?
For me, what am I going to do? So obviously just the Whitening Co, I'm just going to go real hard with that. So we're hoping to have stores all around New Zealand. So if you can't get to the Whitening Co right now, we will be in your location soon enough. So yeah, in terms of work, I'm just going to really push on with that and just go hard with it. My influencer thing, I'm just going to keep trying to grow my following, just kind of beauty, makeup, fashion, that sort of stuff. And I'd love to go traveling and just go to Europe next year, most likely, and just go see my family, that kind of thing. So yeah, I live a pretty normal life, to be honest. Like I just hustle pretty hard at what I do and hope for the best.
Awesome. So I think we're going to wrap it up now. Got a few questions to ask you just towards the end, the 3-3-3.
Okay.
So 3 goals for this week. Wait, sorry. It's 3 wins for last week.
Yeah.
3 losses for last week and 3 goals for this week.
Oh, this is really hard.
Yeah.
You put me on the spot here.
3 wins for last week.
3 wins for last week. Okay. Jordan successfully cooked an entire meal by himself, which was great.
Good on him.
Came home and dinner was cooked. That was great.
He can do that more often
Yeah,
now.
yeah. If he's listening, he can do that. What else? Obviously, everything with the Whitening Co is going super cool. So, just having the Takapuna store opening, that's just great. We did a lot of progress on that last week, so that's been really cool. And the other thing is probably about work as well. I had my first employee, and she's amazing, and that's all I could really ask for in a new employee.
That's good. 3 losses for last week?
3 losses.
Jordan didn't cook dinner every night?
I don't know. This is really...
That's good, though.
This has really put me on the spot.
That's actually pretty good.
I can't actually think of anything. Jordan's probably listening right now being like, you've complained about this all week.
He's like
you're listing stuff.
Complaints.
I actually can't, I don't know.
That's
I can't
good.
think of anything.
That's good.
Easy.
Done. That's 3 goals for this week then.
So successfully open Takapuna tomorrow, and we'll have our first week of influencers and that kind of thing in. This week, you know what's happening. The YouTube channel, that one's got
YouTube's going up.
That's going up. And what else? I feel like I just need to FaceTime my mum a little bit more probably. So that's going to be my goal, FaceTime my mum.
That's good. Awesome. That was one hell of a chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Sorry, there was a few technical difficulties at the start of the stream. We had to restart it. But
I think, actually, a funny story might add is the first time I met Ruby. I met Ruby at Summer Classics, and I was probably not proud of drinking these, but you used to get them. They're like Smirnoff Guarana ices. And like I drank two.
The smell of those.
They literally just taste like
Grayson's
Red Bull.
freshly 18.
I know. I was like, I can't believe you're 18.
No, my mate got me into them. Who's 28. He's a bit of a ruckus. Neil, sorry. And he got them and said, "Oh, just get a 12-pack." I was like 8 of those deep, slightly turning into a bit of a cook chook. And I ran over like, "Ruby, I do a podcast and like I want to have you on."
No. It was like talking really fast. Like, my name's Christian, and
you'd never met before.
No, and then
never.
Jordan is standing in the drink sign,
like
looking
cracking
over,
up.
and then he sees Grayson get his phone out, and he's like taking my details. I'm obviously telling him something, and he's writing it down on his phone. And Jordan's looking at me like, "Are you giving him your number? Like, what's going on?" And then Grayson's like, "We're doing a podcast for a while," and I was like, "I'm never." He runs off. I'm like, "I'm never gonna hear from that guy again."
I remember he came
I
in.
slept in a ditch that night. I literally slept in a ditch.
Oh, come on,
night.
do better.
I remember the next morning. I was in my room on my computer, and Grayson comes in. And he goes, "Oh, I've got our guest for next week." And I was like, "What?" And then I get a screenshot photo on my WhatsApp from him, and I think he was DMing you or something.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Ruby's keen. Ruby's keen. She wants to be on the podcast." And I was like, and again, sorry, I was like, "Who?" I have no idea who this girl is. And I like looked you up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yep, sweet." And then Grayson's like, "Okay, yeah," and started like locking it in, and like.
Surprised it got locked in, to be honest.
Hey, it's cool. I love stuff like this. You guys are doing such a good job, and it's cool you're getting people to talk about stuff they don't really want to talk about. It's so good.
No, I'm sure everybody learnt a little bit about that thing and can take a few bits away from media and influencers and all that sort of stuff. And if you're an influencer, you've got maybe 2 years.
Get to Twitter. That's what we've learned.
You've got 2 years on Instagram before Instagram goes down. And if you're not on Twitter, it's game over for you. Find a new career. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Peace.